So we were just starting to work on the update function, and we had created a template for get instructor name and middle initial for update. And this is going to be a form that lets the user select which account they want to edit and specify the middle initial. And so let's go ahead and make this a template. So extends default.html. And then we have our title block. Which is going to be update instructor. Is it block end or end block? Actually, hold on. It seems like, yeah, it was end block. And then a header. And then the content. And then in here, we're going to have actually, we'll put a paragraph, and then we'll have a form. And the main difference between get method and post method is in this form, you say method equals post instead of method equals get. And when you use get method, the information from the form is included in the URL that gets loaded when you submit the form. With post method, the information is encoded in the same way as a set of key value pairs, where the key is the name of an input item in the form and the value is whatever the user has entered or selected. But instead of putting those key value pairs in the URL, they're actually in the body of the HTTP request. So the way the HTTP request is formatted is it's all in text, but there are a bunch of headers at the top, and then a single blank line separating the header lines from the body, and then the body itself, which is often empty, but in this case, it's going to have the information that was in the form. So the method is going to be post, and then the action is going to be the endpoint for the page that gets loaded with the information. And I believe that was update instructor, but let me, what did I call that? So did I create an endpoint for that yet? Yeah, update instructor. So that's going to be the endpoint. So action is update instructor. And then inside the form, I'm going to want to have a select item that the user can use to select which instructor they want to edit. So select name is instructor name. And then we're going to have a list of options. And so to get the list of options, we're going to loop for instructor in instructors, actually instructor list. Actually, let's say for instructor and all instructors. We're gonna, for each one, we're gonna include an option, value equals instructor dot get key. I want the key. Yeah, let me do the key because the key is going to be unique. And then the value here is going to be the name of the instructor. So let's go ahead and do instructor dot get first name space instructor dot get last name. So that should be the options. And then we're going to end our for. And then we also want to have an input box where the user can type the middle initial. So for this, let's go ahead and add a label, middle initial colon, followed by input type is text, name is middle initial. And I might need to fix this HTML, but I think this is going to be okay. And then we're going to have a button. Type is submit. And then update. So let's just take a look at how this looks so far. I'm going to need to create an endpoint for that. So get instructor name and middle initial for update. Let me copy that. And I already do have an endpoint. Good. So it's going to show this. And I called it instructors here, but I called it all instructors in the actual template. So let me change that here. And let me go ahead and run it. Oh, that's not the one I wanted to run. So let me stop it. And I wanted to run the web interface. Okay. And then I'm going to go to localhost 8000. And then that's where I want to go. All right. So I'm going to update Rocco. Let's do me, because I know that my middle initial is I. And we'll say X here and click update. But before I hit update, I want to go to the network tab so I can watch the traffic. So I'm going to click the update button. And so couldn't find instructor named Mark Goodman. So I need to make sure that I'm comparing the key. But let's look at what happened when I called update instructor. So this time the request is using method post. So here's the actual request header. And I'm going to make this a little bigger here. So the request header says post, and then the path to the document is update instructor, hypertext transfer protocol 1.1. And then all of this is the same as what you've seen before. And then there's also a payload, which looks like this. So the actual payload is instructor name equal Mark Goodman and middle initial is equal to X. And probably the reason that the name isn't matching is because these things get URL encoded. spaces are not legal characters in URLs. And so they automatically get replaced with pluses as part of the encoding for URLs. And we weren't doing that when we were supplying get parameters, but it happened automatically here. And so I'm going to have to unescape this on the other side. Well, actually, let me take a look at what I'm actually getting. So, anyways, this is how the information gets passed in, and then in update instructor. So instructor name is request form. So I'm going to put a breakpoint there, and I'm going to run this under the debugger. And let's actually see what we get. So I'm going to go ahead and reload this and then go back here. So I'm at the breakpoint and I have middle initial. Actually, middle initial is X. And then instructor name is actually Mark Goodman. So it got unescaped already on this side. But then instructor name dot lower is not matching instructor.getKey. So let me look at what I have for the key value here. So this isn't being lowercase because I forgot to do that. So that's the problem. The problem is this isn't getting converted to lowercase. So rather than change that right now, I'm just going to make sure that both things that I'm comparing in my update view function are in lowercase. So instructor in that. So if this is going to be converted to lower, I'm going to convert this to lower as well. And now it should match. Now I noticed that if this does match and it goes ahead and makes the change, it doesn't actually return anything useful here. So what I really want to return is I want to render a template that says that information was updated successfully. So let's go ahead and return render template update succeeded. .html. And then we're going to make a new Jinja template called update succeeded. And hopefully I spelled that correctly. And then I'm going to start by copying all of this stuff. So the title is going to be update succeeded. And then the content will just be a paragraph. So I need instructor name and middle initial to write that message. And then In my web UI, I'm going to go ahead and pass in instructor name is instructor name. And middle initial is middle initial. So that'll be the confirmation message. And then I'm going to go ahead and reload this. Oh, actually, I'm stopped in the debugger. So let me resume. And then let me run it. Stop and rerun. And I'm going to reload this. So I get update succeeded, middle initial for Mark Goodman has been changed to X, and then return to main menu. And then to verify that that actually worked, I'm going to go back to the main menu, select an instructor list and print it. And then I guess I'll do 233Y. And I see that the middle initial has been changed to X. So now let me go ahead and add a link to that from the menu. So I'm going to copy the endpoint here because that's way too long to type. And then in my main menu, we're going to add another list item. For that, which is going to be update and instructors middle initial. So let's just go through the loop and make sure it all works. So I'm going to go back to main, update an instructor's middle initial. For Rocco, actually, let's do Walter Lara, and we'll do L for Walter. And then back and print 233J. Nope. I'm just going to do all instructors here. And then Walter Lara is now L.